What's going on there, guys? Good afternoon. It's the Earth Master here on this end of the weekend. Sunday, July 24th, 2022 is the date. About 11:45 a.m. here in California, West Coast time. We got a 3.1, the latest earthquake down here in the South America region. Seen a pretty good swarm of activity ramping up here in the South America region. Some deep earthquake activity occurring down there as well. Notice areas here along the western Pacific plate awfully quiet. We do have a volcano that has erupted in the Japan region. Kind of want to bring this up on this volcano here, Sakurajima area. Well, this volcano is actually one of the most active volcanoes globally. This volcano last erupted here back in, I think it was back in 2000. Let's see where I was reading that at. 2020, October 3rd, the volcano had a some type of volcanic ash explosion. But today's activity, or yesterday I should say, definitely kicking things up in the explosive category. It is one of the most active volcanoes in the world, and one of the few that are at present in constant, persistent activity, similar to Kilauea on the Big Island. So yeah, a little bit of activity kicking up here. 1914 was a pretty strong eruption from the Sakurajima volcano here in Japan. Pretty explosive. That volcano eruption was actually followed up by quite a few earthquakes, quite a few large ones. Looking on the map here, I'm not seeing anything within this region of earthquake activity. Doesn't mean that there isn't any. I'm just not seeing any there on the USGS map. The location of this volcano of Sakurajima area is down here into the south. It looks like it's disappeared off here into the oh, I wonder why it disappears like that. It shows it on this map here, but then you zoom in and it kind of disappears. But you guys get the picture right here. Pretty active volcano kicking up here in the region. Let's see what else we got here. Due to its explosive potential, as noted here, it is considered a very dangerous volcano and closely monitored. So, continuing to watch it. It is spewing out quite a few events there. Latest recent activity listed on the Wikipedia article shows back on at least today's time frame, July 24, 2022. Explosive eruption occurred at the summit crater of the volcano. And check this out. The cinders here scattered up to 2.5 kilometers from the crater. So basically shot out like bullets. Following the eruption, the Japan Meteorological Agency raised the eruption alert level from 3 to level 5. Obviously, the highest level, and urged maximum precaution and evacuation. This was the first time an eruption alert level 5 has been issued for the Sakurajima area. So things getting pretty crazy today. Definitely will be keeping an eye on it. There's some images being thrown around on social media, pretty active for this volcano. But again, as far as earthquake activity going on here, the 4.0 and above, nothing showing up. Let me check the EMSC model here. Let's bring this up and see what we got for earthquake activity. Might have to monitor this volcano a little bit closer. Zoom in here to this little area. EMSC does a pretty good job of showing some further quakes. There was a 4.2. Looks like around that area of Japan. Let me see exactly where that's at, but that's kind of not in the area where the volcano is. So I'm not for sure why EMSC isn't showing any of the smaller quakes either. They may not have a connection there to some of the smaller magnitudes. But either way, we'll watch it. If this thing does get ready to really, really do its thing, I'm sure we'll be seeing some earthquake activity out here from the Sakurajima volcano there in Japan. Pretty Pretty crazy activity. It's a beautiful volcano. Check that out. Absolutely beautiful. But there is looks like there's quite a few communities around the region of that volcano. But definitely stunning volcano for sure. All right, guys, let's move on from that and check out earthquake activity. It's been, as you guys seen, it's been relatively quiet for earthquake activity here within the western portion of the Pacific Ring of Fire. And around the Philippine plate here as well. We have seen a little bit of earthquake activity ramping up in the Taiwan area. This one was last night, though. As far as recent activity goes, this morning time frame, a little scattered activity from about the Indonesia region here up into the Myanmar area, where they've seen a 4.7 earthquake. Aside from that, a little bug on me. That's kind of irritating. I hate that. Start feeling something crawling on your arm, look over it. Now it's just a little gnat, but still a little irritating. One earthquake out here around the Croatia area. This one a 4.0. Not a big earthquake, but I haven't really seen too much movement up here, so we'll watch that. Iceland area seen a 4.8 earthquake earlier this morning. Things could be getting active here in this area. Looks like a 4.4 and a 4.8. Not 100% certain on what we got for volcanoes in this area. Of course, it is in a very high volcano region. Looks like as far as where these epicenters are, it's kind of hard to tell. But either way, we'll definitely keep an eye on that. The Volcano Discovery website is actually a really cool site to watch and check out for updated volcano updates. South America, or the South Atlantic Ocean, pretty quiet today. Mid-Atlantic as well. South America activity kind of dying off a little bit. Most of this here, actually all of it, is from last night, where we've seen some deeper movement here in the area of the South American region. Puerto Rico dying off as well. Not a whole lot of movement kicking off here today. Looking at the all magnitudes map here, only shows 6 earthquakes, so that's a huge drop in daily earthquake activity around the Puerto Rico region. Caribbean plate looks awfully quiet today. Not a whole lot going on through the eastern portion of the states. One earthquake out here from last night in the Tennessee area, up against the Appalachian Mountains there. Nothing going on throughout the New Madrid zone. Oklahoma, pretty quiet up there in the southern plains. Down in western Texas here, outside of Pecos, a little activity still kicking up, although most of that from earlier this morning and late last night. Pacific Northwest, a little activity up here around the Portland, Oregon area. Aloha, Oregon. Wow, never heard of it. A 2.8 up here in this area, 20 kilometers deep outside of Portland. Little activity up there in Washington as well. We did have an earthquake here well off the coast of Oregon on the Pacific side of the plate boundary here. Got a couple different plate boundaries if we want to separate this this microplate into 3 separate little pieces. It's right off of the Juan de Fuca plate, but on the Pacific side of the plate boundary. Had a 4.0, 10 kilometers south of the Blanco fracture zone. Down here in Northern California, got one earthquake here. This one from last night at 1.8, 30 kilometers deep, indicating a subduction zone earthquake there along the Cascadia. California, the rest of California looks pretty quiet, aside from our very typical earthquake activity around the Clear Lake volcanic field. Hydrothermal operations ongoing there, creating those earthquakes, man-made earthquakes. In the Bay Area of San Francisco region outside of Pacifica, a couple ones kicking off here, just off the San Andreas Fault here, and down south. Things a little spotty. Not a whole lot going on in the Garlock Fault zone. Looking down here, though, around the Salton Sea, the southern segment of the San Andreas Fault. Little activity west of the Salton City area, and also down here on the Brawley seismic zone. Although no major swarms taking place yet in that area. Alaska, Pretty quiet, not a whole lot showing up here across the map. Of course, this is very typical. Actually, it looks like a little below average for daily activity up there in the microquake department. One earthquake here in the Aleutian Trench, got a 4.4. See what we got down here in Hawaii. Got a little activity ramping up again around the Mauna Loa area and the southeastern edge of the Big Island around Pahala. Very typical movement. No major adjustments taking place there out at the volcanoes currently. One earthquake, pretty deep here into the, take your pick, Kermadec Trench, Tonga Trench. One of the two, either way in our major deep zone, 515 kilometers deep for a 4.4. That one kicking up late afternoon yesterday. So things are very quiet here in this region for now, as far as 4.0 and above goes. So checking out the EMSC model still gives us quite a few threes kicking up here along this area of the Kermadec Trench, north of the North Island region. And also quite a bit of cluster of quakes here around the Indonesia area. South America is seeing quite a few threes. Not a whole lot of fours in the mix. Same for the Middle America Trench regions. Seeing little activity up into the Gulf of California. Looks like a couple low-grade threes in that area as well. What do we got for Yellowstone? Let's check this out here. I don't think we checked this last night. I was pretty tired last night driving over to the coast here. Man, I passed out immediately after the update video. Got a little bit of sleep, but not much. So I just haven't been sleeping all that great. Earthquake activity, not a whole lot going on. As far as microquake activity goes here at the super volcano, in fact, there's not a whole lot at all anywhere. Looks like one earthquake here around the southern area of the Yellowstone area, but that's just a very small microquake. What do we got for space weather? Of course, we did see that G1 storm kick up here a couple nights ago. Back to being green across the board here. Nothing expected. Things are looking pretty bleak and pretty dim on the Aurora forecast. Not a whole lot popping off there. Did have a far side CME, coronal mass ejection. Was not pointed towards Earth. Better luck next time, right? I agree there, solarham.net. Better luck next time. Solar flare activity is diminishing, folks. You can see it here on this map. Not a whole lot of solar flare activity, not a whole lot of potential. Here is the solar sunspot map showing the visible disk here, 3062, and all these other little guys. They need to get out of here. They hardly provided any type of major events for us. It's just a little on the minimal side. Let's see what else we got. Nothing going on here. This drop right here is just due to the data coming in periodically. You get these blackouts. But yeah, solar flare activity, 55% chance maybe of a C flare. That's probably being very generous. Aside from that, M flares and X flares, not even a chance. Well, a 5% chance, but again, I think that's even generous. One little mini coronal hole here. We'll see if this thing develops and gets any bigger. If it does, it is directed right at Earth, and that could enhance the 3-day geomagnetic forecast as solar wind stream pours from that little tiny hole. But I wouldn't count on it. So we're entering into a very quiet period here, folks, of solar activity. See it on the eastern half here of the sun. A little bit of development here, but overall, it's once these are gone, it's looking pretty quiet. So not a whole lot going on solar weather wise. All right, what else we got here? Anything else going on aside from that volcano? Of course, volcanoes are always erupting around the globe, folks. This volcano there in Japan, it last kind of acted up a little bit back in 2020, and people are going to build on volcanoes, and it's a risk that they take. It's a chance that they take when they're they build a community, villages right next to a volcano. We do it here in California. We do it here in the States, everywhere. People like the view. I was driving by Clear Lake area yesterday to get to Fort Bragg, and Mount Konocti there, beautiful volcanic feature there on the south side of Clear Lake. Houses built up onto it. It's kind of a dormant volcano, but it's still active underneath the ground. You know, they're utilizing that the steam and heat from the hydrothermal operations there at Calpine around the Cobb Mountain region. So we know it's still active, but I don't know. People, I don't know. It's beautiful to look at a volcano, but I don't think I would be building my home, raising my family anywhere near a volcano. But then again, I mean, what else? Where else is safe? You know, we're living out on the Big Island of Hawaii. Well, we've got tsunamis and volcanoes out there. I guess it's it's a chance we all take. It's got to enjoy the moment, so to speak, right? We have to enjoy what we like, and if they like the view from the volcano, hey, more power to them. But just be prepared. You know, future volcanic plans could dampen any type of settlement that one would build there around the volcano. All right, guys, I'm gonna bounce out of here. Have a good night. Or a good day. It's not nighttime yet. Waiting for my coffee to kick in. We will chat you guys a little bit later, folks.